All right. First rule of the channel, we not talk about this channel. Second rule of the channel, this is not legal advice. So this is going to be Chasing the Dragon, the reactive waiver wire show for week 6, heading into week 7. In general, this is a really good week for after waivers. This is not the greatest week from a Chasing the Dragon perspective, but this is also a really good week for what's a win worth and buying a win if you want to coming off a waiver wire this week. Like, going to be very interesting how to strategize who to knife fight for on waivers and who to let clear, and then build your roster that way, fill your holes in the way that you need. Remember, with buys coming up, and I think there's only 2 buys this week. You're looking at, well, no buys this week, it looks like, or no, 2 buys: the Bears and the Cowboys. My mic's in the way if you're wondering. Looking at your opponents and building your strategy for knife fighting off of waivers and who to pick up after waivers, based off of who your opponents may or may not be slotting in their spots. So again, it goes both ways. What you need, what they need, and what you and they need next week too to be looking at, from who to be knife fighting for on the waiver wire. So hopefully you already stashed your Ty Chandlers from last week going on. Some of the other news, and I have this, is the defenses. Remember to start off with like never trust Thursday night football. We can start off with like the Broncos going up against the Saints right now. Like the Saints are pretty decimated on offense, and Denver's going to have like the rookie Bo Nix, and they don't have a lot of weapons on top of that. So like you could roll either of those out there. Probably not the best. Again, like never trust Thursday night football. There's a variable there you're not going to be able to predict on that one overall. Same thing with the London game going on right now. You could roll either of these defenses. The rookie Drake May, and then Jacksonville's bad. But again, I don't know how much you can predict this with the extra variable of it being overseas. Bills against Levis right now, like, so that's a pretty good roll. Coming off, like, I'm going live right after the Monday night game. So Bills against Will Levis is a pretty good roll. Bengals and Deshaun Watson. This would be very sticky if you have the ability to go a different direction than trying to chase the Bengals defense. They did look better, but they played Daniel Jones and the Giants. But that would be a chase the dragon streaming defense this week. Finns and Anthony Richardson, Dolphins and Anthony Richardson. This could go either way. Remember, like, we got no Tua and we got Anthony Richardson. And then finally, like, the bell of the ball, like the one to be spending on this week would probably be the Rams going up against the Raiders. Most of the other defenses, I would probably guess, are either rostered, so I probably wouldn't, be worried about it. But, some of the other ones, like, the better big name defenses, but mostly these would be the ones that I think that would be on waivers to be spending your fab and stuff on. So starting off with, I don't know, who's available in your leagues. I was just breaking down after waivers today, all the stats, and then, trying to look at like some of the other ones that some of the sites were talking about with like waivers this week. I don't know. Some of the guys, like, they shouldn't be available. Drake May shouldn't have been available as soon as he got as soon as they said like he was going to start this week. He should have been snatched up in competitive leagues. And the biggest reason behind it is like the nimbly bimbly will win you your league when it comes to quarterbacks. So like, again, a fumble, 2 interceptions, I don't care. He threw three touchdown passes and he had 5 for 38. So how consistent that's going to be probably doesn't matter, because at least for the Jacksonville Jaguar, he's probably going to light them up. And then maybe you get him against the Tennessee. I don't know about the Jets. Chicago's pretty good. So like, you're going to have to stream around Drake May, but the weeks that you're going to be able to potentially win your league, and then Arizona, Buffalo, and the Chargers to finish things off, maybe, but you may get like a quarterback one. And again, he looked better. The offense looked better in general. So I don't really care about the turnovers as much as he's going to fall in the end zone. That's all I need to know. And then, how much he's able to throw touchdown passes. He can throw all the interceptions he wants, pretty much, like, as long as he's going to throw some touchdown passes. Don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be available in your league. Like, I don't know how competitive you are. Not too interested in chasing the 4 touchdown passes, but the 4 for 56. And again, this is coming off of like 5 for 34. So again, if he's available, yeah, I probably would be going after him. And Sam Darnold should have already been rostered, last week, stashed for a couple weeks, getting ready to go up against Detroit. So if he's available, probably be the top guy. And again, Bo Nix already should have been rostered after last week, when he did 8 for 9 and a touchdown falling into the end zone, and then another 2 touchdown passes, and then rolled out against the Chargers again, like 19 for 33, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and then 6 for 61. Should have already been rostered because of the nibbly. But I don't know your roster. I don't know how competitive your league is. Those would be the top quarterbacks that I see. Now, the running back room gets really interesting. As you can see, a lot of choices this week, who to be right on, who to be wrong on, who to let your opponents be right on, who to be wrong on, who to be picking up, like, after the knife fight's over, the lot of stuff to be looking at. So Sean Tucker, and as you can see, like, their head coach came out today and said, like, oh, we might have a three-headed monster in the backfield, which is not a particularly good sign. The one thing that I will say about, like, Sean Tucker is he may be, like, in that, like, low end startability range if Rachaad White continues to miss time. And right now, it would not surprise me that they're like, hey, the dreaded take as much time as you need type of approach when it comes to this backfield after what Sean Tucker did. I probably would not be chasing him unless, like, I'm in a deep league and I really need to have some type of opportunity on it. Like, and again, I talk about this with the sausage. I could see why he would have been a role this week, expecting that Bucky Irving was not going to get the full boat. And again, like, Bucky Irving did the 62% snaps, Sean Tucker did the 38% snaps. I don't know how consistent this is. I would be more interested in stashing him and seeing how it shakes out down the line than really spending on him. Isaac Garriendo, and I can bring this one up right here with Jordan Mason. With whatever's going on with the shoulder, he did practice on Monday, whatever that means, and day to day. Remember, they got a bye coming up week 9, and they don't have to do anything with CMC coming back. Like, the other thing is to think about with Garriendo, and I don't know how much I'd be knife fighting for him either. Patrick Taylor was the guy that they brought in. He got some of the work, along with Isaac Garriendo. So they didn't just give the whole backfield to Garriendo at this point. Converted wide receiver. There's a lot to like. I could definitely see that he is the heir apparent to CMC because he's that converted wide receiver and he's, like, big and he's fast. He's special, maybe in a way that Jordan Mason isn't. But again, like, probably after waiver stuff, I don't know how much I'd be, like, knife fighting for him, expecting that I'm going to get, like, anything out of him. Most of his production came on, like, the 76-yarder that he said he took a seat on late. So again, like, wasn't super efficient on the other 9 carries that he had in the game. But however it goes down, Ray Davis pops up on the Monday night game. Like, so I was looking at Twitter beforehand, and everybody's yelling about how Frank Gore Jr. was running with the ones. He was elevated. Ty Johnson was supposedly running with the ones in pregame warmups. And then Ray Davis goes out there after doing 3% snaps in week 5. He does 18 for 91 and then another 3 for 3 for 55. One of those was like a downfield shot, that, like, contested catch that he went and got. So on this one, you're probably knife fighting a little bit more on to see if they're going to take some time with James Cook coming back. That would probably be the biggest thing when it comes to, like, are you going to be able to chase the dragon on Ray Davis? Is you're buying the possibility that, like, James Cook is going to miss another week. And after this performance, like, maybe they can go, like, hey, take your time on him. I don't know. There are other guys that I probably would be knife fighting for. So I'll bring this one up right here. So this came up, and I haven't been able to see a lot of it, and, like, no one else is really talking about it. So didn't see this yesterday. And then when I was doing the after waiver stuff, and I went and looked this up other places. So something's going on with an ankle injury with James Conner. And this is generally what everybody's been talking about when it comes to Trey Benson. But remember that in week 3 with the Lions blowout, 3% snaps. And then in week 5, which was a wonky script game with the San Francisco 49ers, no snaps at all. The blowout with Green Bay, 19% snaps with Trey Benson. So I bring all this up, even if there's vacated opportunities. So whatever was going on in the blowout with the Cardinals and the Packers, with James Conner going out, DeMercado comes in, does 53% snaps, 4 for 25, 7 for 5 for 39. He is going to be the trustworthy back, regardless of if James Conner does miss time. So I don't know how much I would be really knife fighting for Trey Benson. I probably would just be putting in a sneaky low bid in Fab Leagues on DeMercado, taking him home, or definitely stashing him coming out of this for next week. If there's going to be a guy that's going to get, like, pretty close to bell cow work right now, if there is a James Conner injury, like, it would be DeMercado. I could see Benson's going to get some of that design work, like the fun, flashy stuff, because of the athletic ability. But, like, DeMercado is going to probably get the pass blocking stuff, which means he's going to be on the field for receiving work, and he's probably also going to get the goal line stuff because, the trustworthy back when it comes down to it. Hopefully you already stashed your Ty Chandler shares right now, and I don't really know what this means. If you're wondering about it, where is he? Right here. Aaron Jones supposedly practiced was on the practice field on Monday. I don't know what that means. So they went from, like, this could be a season-ending injury to like the MRI came back okay, and then he's going to be week to week to like now they're making it out like he's going to practice. Coach speak, how the NFL works is that they don't want anybody to know what's going on with them. Like, why would you want to like tell everybody, hey, Aaron Jones isn't going to play this week? So, again, hopefully you already stashed Ty Chandler. As soon as the news came out on Aaron Jones, like he should have been snatched up last week. So if he's available, like, yeah, I would imagine you're going to get like some type of like 60% split out of him. Not going to get the trustworthy work. That's going to go like CJ Ham when it comes down to it, but just like the gravy, the 60% work that he did in week 5 against the Jets, like I can see that remaining consistent. Tyrone Tracy shouldn't be available in any leagues. Any of the leagues that like listen to Tyrone Tracy, deeper league should have been already drafted. We're just waiting for the opportunity when it comes down to it. And again, talk about this in like after sausage or how the sausage was made. 6 for 6 for 57. That's the really interesting part. He does 84% snaps. Like the big problem you're looking at with him is it's probably going to be some type of timeshare. It just becomes an issue of how much Devin Singletary is the guy. And I imagine Devin Singletary is going to be the trustworthy back in one way or another, which means you're going to buy at best like 60% Tyrone Tracy in this offense. And it's not a particularly good offense. But again, what's a win worth? That's what you're generally going to be asking with a lot of these guys. If you're in that situation, like Ty Chandler is probably going to be like safe. The rest of them, like DeMercado, is probably going to be like relatively safe, but that's a big if you get James Conner on this one. Tyrone Tracy, like you might get another week at this point when it comes to Devin Singletary. They might go like, hey, take your time. Otherwise, you're buying the possibility. Again, what's a win worth when it comes to these guys? Tyler Algier should not be available in any leagues if they're competitive. In this one, we might have like a different backfield going forward. He only did 41% snaps, but 19 combined opportunities. There was like 2 red zone opportunities when it came to, I think 3, maybe had a target on top of that. But again, already should be available. You're buying theoretical possibility that we're going to get like Detroit, but in Atlanta at this point when it comes to how the Atlanta Falcons are going to be rolling out. And at that point, like, that would be pretty interesting to me as an RB2. So if he's available. Now, when it comes to the Browns right here. So Jerome Ford, he's considered week to week with a hamstring, vacated opportunity. Well, not entirely true. Looks like Nick Chubb's going to come back, but again, expect at least for a week we're going to get a ramp up period, and then it becomes like, who are you going to be chasing if you need that guy? So Devonta Foreman with Jerome Ford going out, 35% snaps, 10 for 31, 2 for 2 for 61. Pierre Strong, and whatever you think of Pierre Strong, at least in this game, 53% snaps, 8 for 43, 3 for 2 for 35 to go along with it. I believe, and I don't have my notes pulled up right now, I believe that Donta Foreman got the 2 red zone opportunities. So again, what pick your poison on this one? I imagine, I'm just going to go out and say, like, I imagine if Nick Chubb is active, Donta Foreman's not going to be active at this point. So anyway, and then finally, I did see this be brought up, like how to handle this when it comes to like after waivers versus chasing the dragon when it comes to Kamani Valdell. First game that he's active for, 24% snaps, 4 for 11, 2 for 2 for 40 and a touchdown, and that was on a wheel route. So again, like that's the good type of stuff. That's not the check down monster stuff when it comes to Kamani Valdell. Again, it depends on how deep your league is. Yeah, lottery ticket. That's about like the biggest you're going to get out of it. How much he's going to be able to eat into J.K. Dobbins down the line. Like, are you going to get like type of like 1B? Probably not going to be as something that I would be buying on it at this point down the line. But like, if you're in a deep enough league that you can snatch up lottery tickets coming off the wire, like, yeah, otherwise like he would probably be after waivers ad, but I don't know your league when it comes down to it. All right, Broncos. So Devon Vele, he pops up, and I did see him being talked about certain places. 62% snaps. I guess like 2 of these games were with ribs, and 2 of these games that he missed were with healthy scratches. I don't have these were not check down monster routes when it came to the air yards. He had like 36 air yards in week 1 on the 8 for 8. These were not all air yards. There are other guys I would be chasing, including Troy Franklin, who had like an elevated snap share in this one, and I'll go over that in after waivers. To make you guys wait on this stuff. This is just like, if you're going to be dropping your fab ahead of time, I probably would not be going after Vele. Did see Josh Downs. I don't know how competitive your league is. He should have been rostered like 3 weeks ago. I don't know. I saw him pop up. I don't know why he would be available. I don't think he's available in either of my leagues, like the more competitive one, the high stakes one, or the the casual one. He's not available. I don't know why he was on everything. The Packers are going to get really interesting because I do believe, and I'm bringing this one up, Jaden Daniels, not Jaden Daniels, Jaden Reed popped up when it came to the Packers on the injury report, and that's to go along with Dontavian Wicks. Jaden Reed, so he did have an ankle, I believe, in this one. Let me gotta pull my notes up and be prepared again, like usual. So he did pop up on the injury report, and I did kind of go and hunt it down and confirm it. So like there may be like multiple vacated opportunities with Dontavian Wicks going down. Yeah, Reed with an ankle. So like you're looking at Reed going down with an ankle, and then you're looking at Wicks going down with the shoulder. So this is going to consolidate those targets together. Now, probably the guy to own in all this would be like Tucker Kraft, but if he's not available, like Dobbs looks pretty interesting. These would be like not league winner. Like I need to just plug a guy in my lineup. Christian Watson again with those consolidated targets. Bo Melton, right now he's going to be the wide receiver 3 attached to this offense, and he has gotten targets when he's been in the game. So again, like pick your poison. What do you need? Probably like a boom bust wide receiver 3 when it comes to Watson. Romeo Doubs is going to be like an ugly wide receiver 2. Bo Melton's going to be like the sneaky guy to be adding as that wide receiver 3 going into the week going on. Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas. I did go watch his targets, like slant boy, design check down monster stuff. Not particularly interested, but like if you need that guy, 9 targets is not something to be shaking a stick on when it comes down to it. And then if he's the guy that Drake May is going to be looking at, did look at like Jalen Polk. There was some stuff talked about with the coach saying like he's going to put more work in, whatever. I don't care. So like, yeah, if you need that thing, with the Cardinals right now, Marvin Harrison, he's going to be in concussion protocol when it comes down to that. Like you might get like the number 1 wide receiver in this offense. That would mean that that's probably like the number 2 because Trey McBride is a unicorn. But if you're going to be chasing that guy and you need that guy, like we can talk about like Michael Wilson having a predictive spike week this week when it comes down to it. Jordan Whittington should have already been stashed. And I did see some stuff on Cooper Kupp, like maybe not. Like, and I'm going to lean towards like maybe not at this point when it comes to Cooper Kupp. Jordan Whittington, he would be a guy should have already been rostered in most of your competitive leagues. He's not, like he would be the guy that I would probably feel the best about, not named Josh Downs, but with Josh Downs, you would be looking at like this is probably like Anthony Richardson. Maybe you're going to get Anthony Richardson. I don't know how much I trust any of the Colts receivers if Anthony Richardson is the guy, but that's going to be it. And then Tutu Atwell, if you want that boom bust 3 guy, like the speed guy, 10 targets in this one, 81% snaps coming off 90% snaps. But like Jordan Whittington is probably going to be the guy. And there was design passing work with him the last couple of weeks. So that was interesting. And then Juju, before I bury the lead on Bub Means, Juju right now, like he should have already been rostered after 8 for 7 for 130. Thing is going to be like an ugly wide receiver 2. Remember, they're coming out of a bye, which means they're going to be able to self-scout themselves. Like if they really want Juju to be, poor man's Rashee Rice, they can continue to do that. Probably not going to be the worst idea in the world, but again, he was already rostered in both my leagues, my less competitive and more competitive league. I don't know when it comes down to it. Now we can talk about good old Bub Memes. So this is the type of guy on Chasing the Dragon that I think you should be going after. So right now, when you're looking at the Saints, you're looking at Olave in the concussion protocol, and you're looking at Rashid Shaheed with I guess could be a serious knee injury that I saw on Twitter. There's some rumors that say that like they're actually concerned about that knee. So now we can start talking about like vacated opportunities when it comes to wide receivers. So Bub Memes, he's a 5th round draft pick. I did like him coming out of Pittsburgh. I thought he should go a little bit higher. I thought he's capped out, but it doesn't really matter what I think about it because that's generally not what the purpose of fantasy football is. It's not what you think. It's not what I think. It's the numbers that end up being in my scoring column for my lineup. So 71% snaps. That's with the Rashid Shaheed knee injury, and that's also with Chris Olave going out with that concussion. 71% snaps. 8 for 5 for 45 and a touchdown catch. And I will go back to after waivers, and I will give you some free stuff because I'm that type of guy when it comes to like me trying to win my fantasy football league. Probably would be a guy that like I would be very interested in rolling out because of this. You're looking at 66 air yards and a red zone target to go along with all this. So like very interesting guy that I would probably be putting a couple bucks on to get ahead of the curve on when it comes to that. Wouldn't want to be in really competitive leagues trying to clear him after waivers at this point. Like he's gonna probably be the number 1 in this offense down the line. Now the other thing, and now I think about this when I talk about the tight ends, we can talk about Juwan Johnson and probably him, like 77% snaps, even though Foster Moreau was the other guy, like 3 for 3 for 48. Remember, vacated targets tend to go to running backs first, Alvin Kamara, and then tight end second. So like Jawan Johnson. But again, I'm tired of chasing Jawan Johnson. You can chase Jawan Johnson if you want when it comes to that theoretical vacated opportunities. Zach Ertz should have already been rostered last week. 80% snaps, 5 for 4 for 68 in this one. Don't have the air yards, so whatever. The other one, and this is one of the ones like I will tell you like flat out, like you're getting a freebie if you're still listening to this when it comes to chasing the dragon. So Dallas Goedert goes out with that hamstring. They ran last week at Dotson. He was the wide receiver 3. He was at only like 32% snaps. They were in a lot of 2 tight ends. So Grant Calcaterra, whatever, he is the 6 or he is 4.640 guy, 92% snaps, 4 for 4 for 67. Didn't have a lot of air yards, but right now the number 3 in his offense, like he's an automatic start. Like he's a streaming guy right now. If you need a tight end, and as bad as the tight end wasteland is, getting the number 3 in this offense behind like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and then getting theoretically Dallas Goedert, like at least for the next couple of weeks, like he's like, I'm gonna go spend a little bit on a very athletic guy that got 92% snaps, got some targets in this offense. Like as bad as the tight end wasteland is right now, like he's definitely like I'm spending on him. So I believe that's everything that I got when it comes down to these guys. Like I do like quarterbacks, whatever. Sam Darnold, if he's available, probably be the guy, the safest one out of the bed. I don't think Caleb Williams would be available. Like Drake May, like some of the running backs, like Pierre Strong would be sneaky. But if you're going to be knife fighting for anybody, I mean, Tyrone Tracy, he's going to be difficult. Like you're probably knife fighting out of Ty Chandler the most if you need a guy. I do like DeMercado and Pierre Strong if you need to be sneaky when it comes down to that. And then Ray Davis, your guess is as good as mine when it comes down to like James Cook. Same thing with Tyrone Tracy down the line when it comes down to their value. Bub Means would probably be the guy that I think is probably pretty interesting. Jordan Whittington, if you're going to plug a guy in. Michael Wilson, you're really chasing the dragon on those vacated opportunities when it comes down to all that stuff. Looking at some of the other guys that are available. And then Grant Calcaterra, that would be the guy that like I think is like the main, like I'm getting like a 3-week rental with the news of Dallas Goedert going down. So like he gets really interesting really fast when it comes down to it. And then the Rams defense, they're the streamer this week. So anyway, that's what I got when it comes to like chasing the dragon, like who to knife fight for and who to wait for after waivers. And then I'll get after waivers done sometime tomorrow night when I get the other stuff done that I need to get done. And yeah,